Good morning, Africans. Well, it's actually afternoon. Um, I've been preoccupied with this issue of diversity for most of the day today. I posted a status around this gay guy who I encountered in one of the restaurants where I then asked, when I called him Bute, which means brother in isiZulu, he laughed and giggled and said, "Oh my God, they're calling me Bute, they're calling me brother." And it gave me an impression that he doesn't actually connect or identify with that uh, um, part of identity. And it kind of made me think. So watching other people's responses on that DVD, on that video, on that comment, it made me wonder about diversity and realize one thing I've seen or realized before that I wanted to talk about quickly, which is the problem with us and diversity is not the diversity itself. The problem with us and diversity is the way we want to evaluate and create hierarchy about things when it's not even necessary. And as a result, we don't value difference. We actually try or push to create more sameness instead of diversity. And this obviously creates a lot of challenges and conflicts, and even in organizations where you find people struggling to accommodate women, to accommodate people of a different sexual orientation, to accommodate um, well, anyone who is different from the dominant group. So I wanted to chat a little bit about how to actually really think about that. So there are three levels of diversity as I see it. There's the primary dimensions of diversity, which essentially relate to what you can see: your age, your race, your gender, your language, and not even race, actually, just your skin color for many people, because race technically doesn't exist. And perhaps also element of ability or disability, the fact that you don't have an eye, you can't see properly, and all of those kind of things. That's the first one, which is the primary level of diversity. The second level is the secondary elements of diversity: your language, where you went to school, your income strata, and all of those things. Those are the kinds of things that my understanding about it is I have to ask you questions for you to be able to, for me to be able to know how to differentiate and connect with you. And the third level is the tertiary elements, which then go a lot into the the cultural orientation, sexual orientation, mental state, health, and all of those things that also make us different. But sometimes, some even we don't know many times. And to give you an example, I mean, when we talk about a cultural orientation, I have a northern cultural orientation, as African as I am. When a northern cultural orientation means when it's time to do something, I will do what needs to be done and arrive on time for meetings, well, given give or take one, two incidents. But for many people, they might not expect that because they were thinking there's this thing called African time, which personally I hate. So, and you don't know, especially with with tertiary elements of diversity. We tend to spend a lot of time talking a lot about the primary elements of diversity, but we don't know too much about the tertiary elements. And I think for me, that's where most of the conflict lies. So my thing then about diversity is around asking a question: how does diversity help me rather than hinder me in the way I do work? If what is different about the next person contributes to the way I do things, to the way I am, and what I'm trying to achieve, by all means, accommodate, embrace, and live with others. If my gender, my race, my cultural orientation, or sexual orientation, or whatever, has nothing to do or does not even impede on what you are doing, then it's none of your business. Don't hate. Just allow people to connect and be who they are, because it probably is adding value to someone else, even if it's not adding value to you. So my thought is that we tend to get ourselves all mixed up with this diversity stuff, um, as if we want everything to be the same. But we can't, because the way nature has designed us is that we are different for a reason. Each and every one of us is here to add value to someone else. My blackness, my maleness, my shortness, my tallness, or whatever my whateverness is adding value to someone else. And if you don't appreciate that value, it means it's not for you, it's for someone else. And let it go. That's kind of what I wanted to share a little bit and get off my chest. We tend to complicate it quite a lot. So talk to me. I'm all over social media, Mongezi Kalima, or down here on the messages. Otherwise, see me on Instagram and on any of the other social media. Let's talk about diversity and tell me about your challenges and how you've dealt with it and whether this makes sense. Have a great day. Ciao.